Well, listen, May 28th is World Hunger Day, and here are some statistics to consider. 1 in 7 households in the United States experiences food insecurity. 1.3 million New Yorkers face food insecurity every day. Those are staggering numbers. One national organization is helping fight the hunger crisis on a local level. That organization is called WhyHunger.
Executive Director Jenique Jones is here to show us all how we can help. Jenique, welcome to New York Living. Good to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course.
You know, we think of New York as a very prosperous city, obviously, but it seems unfathomable then that 1.3 million New Yorkers, not just like people across the country, New Yorkers actually experience food insecurity. Why does this happen?
Well, we are a very prosperous city and we are a very prosperous nation, but that prosperity is really for only certain people, right? When you think about, we hear a lot of talk about city CEOs and the money that they're making. There's someone who's possibly going to be a trillionaire soon, but then the federal minimum wage hasn't increased since 2009. So you have to think about things like that. So there are a lot of folks who just, they're not keeping up with, you know, the increased money that is available to everyone. So you have a lot of folks who are making a lot of money at the top. And then there are those of us who are, you know, we're just trying to get by. And I think that's what makes it really hard for people. And while wages aren't going up, the cost of everything is going up.
It sure is. I used to be able to go to the grocery store with a couple of bags for under $100. Now I have one bag and it's over $100. You know, Mayor Mamdani, his platform was obviously a lot of what you talk about, and he instituted the first city-run grocery stores. I think it's in Mott Haven. A second one is slated to open. Can you talk to us a little bit about what city-run grocery stores are? Are they actually helping? How do they fit into the model of what you and your organization are doing?
I mean, I think the really great thing about a city-run grocery store is that it covers the overhead, right? It covers the cost. So often I think you have these these supermarkets and stores that open, but the overhead is so much that that's why they keep raising the prices, because they're just trying to, you know, make a profit. But by the city absorbing that, it allows for them to keep the cost to the person or the families in the community less. And that's what we need. We need affordable food, and we need affordable healthy food. So I think that there's a real opportunity there for communities that have been often forgotten in the food deserts and all of those things to really get access to fresh and affordable foods, which is going to be amazing.
Yeah, I've always been taken back by the fact that your SNAP benefits can buy you a bag of chips, but not a whole roast chicken, right? And that there are places that incentivize using benefits like that for healthier foods, for fresh vegetables, and that they find that really does make a difference. Your nonprofit has raised a lot of money, global. It's a global organization. How much money have you raised, and how do you turn that money into food on people's tables?
So, for instance, this year we are on task to raise about $8.2 million, and over 90 cents for every dollar we raise goes back out, right?
So good.
So, you know, it's not. I'm not one of those CEOs who's just, you know.
So you didn't come here on your private jet to talk about.
I did not.
Okay.
I did not do that. So that's the thing, is that, you know, all of that money goes back out into the communities, and that looks very different depending on where we're talking about. It might be that we are supporting, you know, a very large food program in Brooklyn that has a farm and is giving out fresh produce and, you know, has cooking classes and they do taxes for people. I mean, they do a little bit of everything, right? Or it might be that we're buying a well for someone in Kenya, or starting a fishing village in South Africa, you know, so it might, or, you know, we're about to start working with about 15 farmers in Maryland to help them become businesses, right? Because it's not just about providing food. It's really about also providing economic opportunity for folks. So those are the kind of things that 90% of that 8.2 million is going to go towards.
It's amazing.
This organization, you weren't just one day, you were like, oh, you know what, I should do this. This is personal for you, based on how you came up. You're a native New Yorker, and I wonder if you wouldn't mind sharing that story with our viewers.
So I have so many stories. I mean, the big thing is I was very fortunate that I always had food. It wasn't until I got much older that I knew the struggles that my grandmother went for me to have that food. But when I started working in schools, there was a young lady there who, her family was very poor, and she had a lot of health issues. And learning that her only meals her only like reliable meals came from when she was in school or in the hospital. My very next job that I ever had was I worked for a food bank. And then I left food banking because I kept seeing the lines get longer and the problem not going away. And I realized it's not about people having food for the day. That is really important. But I want to I want to put myself out of business.
Nice.
Right? I know that growing up in New York, especially in Harlem in the 80s and the 90s, there are a lot of people who have a lot of promise and a lot of ability, but just can't catch a break. And a big part of that is food, right? How are you going to be a good student?
That's right.
If you are hungry?
I'm sure a lot of folks hearing you talk, they know somebody whose only meal is coming from school. They know somebody who's facing food insecurity. How can folks out there help?
I mean, WhyHunger.org is the first way you can start to
That's
help.
right.
But I think it's also, it's supporting organizations like mine, but it's also really tapping into your community and supporting the people in your community, right? I talk about food for the day, but that is needed, right? Is there a food pantry that can use your volunteerism? Is there someone in your local community that can use your volunteerism, right?
Yeah.
But, again, everyone at my job would be upset with me if I did not also say, please go to WhyHunger.org.
WhyHunger.
Yeah.
And learn a little bit about us, because it's not just about giving money. It's really, there's so many different ways that you can come in and tap in and really get connected to us.
Well, you and your shirt say it best. Nutrition is a human right.
Yes.
Here,
Love it.
here. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very, very insightful and inspiring. You at home, if you know someone who needs help, call the WhyHunger hotline at 800-5HUNGER or visit WhyHunger.org for all the information you need. It's right there on our screen.